All right, now we're gonna measure drive shaft length. Okay, so this is a different yoke on than what we have on the TKX. This went into his top loader. And with that plate, it's the top, this transmission is gonna be sticking out a good, probably rough estimate, an inch. So we're probably about an inch too short from what this is, but we gotta change the yoke out. Anyway, so we need to know what that length is gonna be. So how do we measure a drive shaft length? Well, what I've got, if you look under here, I've got the car on the rack, and I've got the rear axle on my jack stands. When you measure for drive shaft length, the rear axle has to be loaded. The suspension has to be loaded, because that suspension is going to go up and down. When it goes up and down, that drive shaft is going to move in and out of that transmission. That yoke is going to go in and out of that transmission so far. So just bear with me just a second. I'm going to get my tape measure, and I'm going to show you where to measure from. Okay, you come over here and look at the yoke real quick. And I put the yoke in the transmission, and then I pulled it out about 1.5 inches. So this one's not as long as the top loader, but it's got to have room to go in and out. And I figure 1.5 inches is probably enough, because I've still got to keep plenty of engagement with the output shaft. But this is real easy. So my rear end is loaded, the suspension is loaded. So you want in the middle of the U-joint. It's going to get you pretty close. So obviously that face will be the middle of the circle right there. So from that surface there on the yoke of the rear end to the middle of the hole right here where your U-joints go, that's the length I need this drive shaft to be when I take it to my drive shaft shop. That's what they want to know. That's what they need to know right there. So if I look here, I go there. Probably have to do this off camera and have Trish hold the tape measure. Yep, because I can't keep it. But we'll turn the camera off, and basically you get the idea of how long this thing needs to be. So I'm gonna have her turn the camera off and help me measure, and then I'll show you what we came up with. Okay, so Trish had to hold the tape measure for me, but you got the idea. The middle of this hole, where the U-joints go, the middle to the face of this, if you got your straps off, right here, that would be the middle of the hole. And that's with your suspension loaded. Very simple, very simple. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the new yoke along with Barry's transmission, and we are going to take it to the drive shaft shop and have our drive shaft made. So I'm probably just gonna use his tube, which is just fine, and they'll just shorten it, and we're there. Barry wants new U-joints, as any common sense person would want. We're there. So we're gonna put new U-joints in the back, and of course they'll have new U-joints in the front when they install the new yoke. But that can be done at the machine shop now while we're putting all this other stuff together, getting things sealed up. We had to drill a couple extra holes per Silver Sports recommendation. This is the new cross member that comes with the unit. It comes, of course, with the new mount. It's a nice setup. It's very nice. So, yeah, back on the road again. And we're gonna measure our shifter. Another thing is, when you order one of these TKX transmissions, now I kind of understand why. On my Charger, the reason why it came with a shifter is because Mopar B-bodies all have one style of shifter, and it was an automatic going to a standard. So it was, that question was brought up immediately. This being a 4-speed Ford car, Ford, of course, with a transmission, but already a 4-speed, they have several different options for the shifter handle. And now I get it. You know, Barry doesn't want to be like Rat Fink and shifting the damn thing up here, right? He wants it at a comfortable level. So I'm going to measure his old shifter and then tell him the dimensions, and I'm going to have him probably go to the Silver Sports page and pick out what shifter he wants. So keep that in mind when you order your TKX overdrive conversion. So guys, that's probably all we've got for today. It's going to be very simple stuff, getting, you know, new gaskets, exhaust hooked up, emergency brake cable, but it is that close. So please like, share, and subscribe, and hope somebody got something as for our TKX overdrive conversion on '66 Mustang. Thanks, everybody.